So speaking of retaliation, I mean, how do you expect Iran to retaliate? What are, in your view, their list of options, and what is the most likely thing to happen next?
Well, they've got a large range of options, but the most important thing is what happens inside Iranian decision-making. So far in this war, since October the 7th, they've only had one military adversary, and that was Israel. And in fact, when Iran launched the first ballistic missile attack in human history against Israel, the Biden administration restrained Israel's response. And even the second response in October was somewhat restrained. I think if I were an Iranian general now, seeing my terrorist proxies pounded by Iran, seeing the Assad regime in Syria fall, seeing my ballistic missile and nuclear weapons programs lying in ashes, I'd be saying to myself, do I really want to take on a second military adversary in the form of the United States? They need to think about it long and hard, because if they do, whether they try to close the Strait of Hormuz, whether they attack American military deployments or American civilian personnel, whether they attack oil infrastructure among the Gulf Arabs, whether they carry out terrorist attacks around the world, at that point, neither Donald Trump nor any other American president has any option but brutal force against the Iranian regime.
Well, to that point, I mean, what is the risk that the U.S. gets drawn into a wider, deeper conflict that potentially involves boots on the ground?
Well, I don't think there's any question of boots on the ground. The only conflict, there's only one adversary we face here, and that's Iran. And their military capability is being decimated as we speak. I think the regime is very vulnerable. I've called for regime change for a long time. I think the regime is weaker now and was weaker before October 7 than at any point since 1979. And every day that goes by, every military commander who's killed, every piece of ordnance that's destroyed leaves that regime weaker. The populace of Iran has seen this regime as in it for themselves for a lot of reasons: the corruption, the self-enrichment of the Ayatollahs and the top generals, the economic misery across the country, the discontent of the youth. Population under 30 is over 60% of the total population. They know they can have a different kind of life. And since the Mahsa Amini murder 2 years ago, 50% of the population has basically demonstrated they don't think the Ayatollahs really do speak with the word of God when it comes to female dress codes. This regime is in trouble, and after last night, it's in even more trouble.
You, of course, have personal experience with this. You were the target, are the target of an assassination attempt. The president stripped your Secret Service, your law enforcement protection when he came into office. Do you face greater risk today from the Iranians, and do others who face similar personal threats on American soil face greater threats today?
Yeah, I think we do. I think it's not just me, of course. It's a list of people that the Iranians have targeted. And it's not just present and former government officials. It's Iranian Americans, people in the Iranian diaspora. This is a terrorist regime. And it started with the attack on the American embassy in Tehran in 1979 when they took our diplomats hostage. It continued with an Iranian-backed attack on the American embassy in Beirut in the summer of 1983, an Iranian-inspired attack on the Marine barracks in Lebanon later that year, and a whole series of Iranian attacks against American military forces in Iraq and Afghanistan. This regime is a threat to international peace and security, and until it goes, there will never be a foundation for peace and security in the Middle East.